Yeah, hi, Raji, good morning. So I think you had some queries on the follow-up thing. So please go ahead.
Perfect. And one exercise now it is going, it is not much of structure. The exercise, what I'm saying is, uh, they are migrating one of the module, which is a key module from monolithic to microservices. Okay. But I see there is things are running bits and pieces here and there. When we do this in specific from monolithic to microservices, um, what is the checklist we should be having? That is one aspect which I would like to try to understand. And what are all the areas in which should be the key focus for the smooth transition from A to B?
Yeah, I think I've sent across a couple of checklists. One is microservices governance checklist. So
Mm,
if you see that, that's a good place to start.
mm.
So apart from that, you can have technology checklists and product checklists and all that are happening. So you can actually look at them. So just let me show you the microservices governance checklist that has been published. So that's a very good starting point that you can
Good.
actually. And apart from that, yeah, so I think it's published today only. So on LinkedIn, let me show that to you. You are able to see this checklist, microservices governance place. So what are the issues that are there in having microservices governance? If you're not following these things, what is going to happen? So this is a good list to say what all you should follow for microservices governance. When you're changing from monolithic to microservices, these are the things that you need to focus on from a governance point of view. But
Mm,
from a technology standpoint, there are other best practices that I will share,
mm.
which can be done. But this is from a governance point of view. Similarly, from a testing point of view, if you are actually trying to look at what are the testing things that needs to be done, so I think a day before, yeah. So when you migrate from microservices to monolithic to micro, so from a test point of view, what and all should you cover as a part of the test philosophy? So what
Mm.
should be the scope of testing the microservices? Everything is being covered in this.
Okay, okay. Three key pillars you covered up. One is on the
Yeah,
microservices space, another is on the technology, other one is on the testing aspect
on
of
the
it,
governance page.
on the governance standpoint.
Yeah.
Okay,
This is testing, governance, and technology, monolithic to microservices that I'll be sharing with you.
Hmm. Got it, got it. Yeah. So since it is a early stage of transition, or they are starting, they are trying to understand what all the services already running and how they can split and structure it out. So probably a high level view. I was thinking when I'm discussing with you, okay, uh, specifically, this is a transition, right? So say an example, this transition is taking 3 months or 6 months, whatever may be the time period. Okay. Uh, for the entire transition to get completed, what are all the key building blocks and what are the key dependencies, so that that is prioritized first and put the flow in such a way that this is addressing, um, not only from the development, one is on the development space, right, and other one is on the infra space, other one is on the security aspect also, and how you will be able to scale all those things, how we are getting covered uh, in which sprint. So I am going to create, yeah, a bird view where in which that gives the clear transition flow, what all the things is getting covered, and then I'll get into the detail of it. Uh, Probably that is giving the end-to-end view of from start to finish, kind
Yeah,
of.
we should put some architectural diagrams. Before microservices, how was your architecture looking like? Where was the front end, business layer, UI layer, middleware, backend? And after the advent of microservices, sorry, yeah, how is the UI, UX, front end, backend database schema? So that if you can put that across and say this is one monolithic which had so many lines of code, 10,000 lines, 15,000 lines, 20,000. After microservices, you'll have probably 30 microservices or 15 microservices, and each microservice will have UI, business layer, middleware, backend, database, and it will support polyglot database or multiple databases with different schemas, same schema, multi-tenancy. All of those things should come in your architecture presentation so that people are able to visualize what efforts you are driving in.
Okay, okay, okay. Correct, correct, correct. So, specifically, there is one technical PMS into it because this is one particular transition they are driving. But the role I am going to play is a kind of bringing the visibility, bringing the process aspect. What are all the areas we are getting covered? What are the efforts which is getting into? Instead of firefighting and pushing the infra team or a platform team in the last minute. So we are well prepared, well aware what is need to be done. That is one space of it. Another one is when you converting to microservices, which one is going first, and how that is not going to impact when you are slowly moving those services, one service or two service, which is not impacting the entire space to it. Is that the flow clear, or is there something I'm also missing in the?
No, that's fine. So if you pay attention to the microservices governance list that I have put here,
Okay, okay.
you can actually follow that governance list completely one by one, and then based on that, you can actually do. This is the testing scope. But before testing scope, if you see the today's LinkedIn share that I've actually done, so that is related to typically the governance. So it is typically the governance part. So it tells you, first of all, teams need to communicate with one another. Second is they need to follow common standards for API development, gateway development, microservices, so that they are doing it properly. Third is how well each of the processes is documented. If somebody is making a change, they should need to inform other people. Third is, if for each microservices, are you maintaining and monitoring how much of the performance overhead that is causing to the overall system? Are you having enough testing support for the microservices? As security, as I said, should be a defense in depth strategy should be done to cover all the security parameters. Then you should create the database sharing also in a particular way so that you are not following on the monolithic habits of tightly coupling with the database. It should be loosely coupled. Third is you should ensure that your service is actually being scaled up and you are actually creating the exception handling and the error reporting across the services correctly. And you are actually facilitating, people are owning the individual pieces of work, and they are creating a certain accountability. So all of these things, you have to set up a process. So once you take care of all of these things, you will automatically, having covered most of it or everything, unless of course maybe there are another 4 or 5% something might be left out. But if you do all of these, you are actually quite good.
Okay, got it. Probably this is an opportunity I would see of structuring it out from the transitioning from monolithic to microservices. What are the best practice you will be following, and in the flow, what are the things should not be missed out from there.
This is the sample one, and this picture also has got a good one. So API implementation, setup details, adopting microservices, use whatever tools are there. So based on this, you can actually create it. This is an indicative guideline, but you can, based on your whatever tools you are using for microservices within your company, you can create a process based on these high-level points.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So don't completely say, okay, this is the only list, because this is just an indication to tell you how it should be done. But you can actually use it and make it much robust and specific to your context based on whatever tools and frameworks your team is using.
Okay, okay, okay. Perfect. I think that is something which is going to really help of getting this microservices more structured. Probably I'll sit with the architect, and
Product owner, yeah, product
uh,
owner, architect.
product owner, and also the technical project manager, and see how this can be put in place. Because we have the developers also,
Take all
right?
these people's inputs and create the process. Yes.
Create the process, how this is getting something that is also going to something which is across all the team they have to follow, because this is an opportunity. No, there is a change. During the change, you bring this particular process also structured, that is going to really help in terms of for the any other transformation or a transition which we can really replicate to the customers or other team as well.
Yes. Yes. Perfect.
Perfect. Okay. Then what I'll do, the specifically I'll try to do that sprint aspect, sprint planning, putting that structure in place and how this can be put across. We'll take a quick review with you. Then I'll proceed. And based on the input feedback, I'll incorporate those changes and I'll take it further on that.
Okay. Fine, Rajan. Yeah, I think that should be fine.